Deep in the mountains, there lived an old couple who worked hard every day, gathering wild greens and cutting wood. They were so poor that they often worried about their next meal, and their knees and backs ached every day. But the two of them cherished each other and never lost their smiles. One day, the old man went deeper into the mountains than usual to gather wood, and sat down on a rock, wiping the sweat from his brow as he rested for a moment. Oh, this is so tiring. I've grown so old that even my bones can't keep up with the years anymore. It's hot, and I've sweated so much that my throat is parched. Isn't there any water to drink around here? Just then, he noticed a small spring bubbling up between the rocks, its water clear and pure. Parched from working so hard in the heat, the old man scooped up the water with both hands and drank it down, cool and refreshing. The moment the sweet, cool water slid down his throat, something strange began to happen. His stooped back straightened, his clouded eyes snapped open, and his whole body surged with bursting energy. Startled, the old man hurried to look at his reflection in the spring water. And there, instead of a wrinkled old man, stood a strong, handsome young man with broad shoulders. Wait, is that really me? I've become young again. He hoisted his wood-carrying frame onto his back as if it weighed nothing, and ran all the way home, overflowing with joy and astonishment. The old woman, waiting in the yard for her husband, was startled when a strange young man suddenly walked in. "Who are you, barging into my house like this, and why on earth are you wearing my husband's clothes?" "It's me, dear, it's me. Don't you recognize me?" "Well, I suppose it has been over 40 years since you last saw me looking like this." The old woman studied him closely for a long while, and at last she recognized the young man he had once been, and she could not close her mouth in astonishment. "Husband, how on earth did you become so young?" "I drank from a spring in the mountains, and it made me young again. I've memorized exactly where it is, so let's go together tomorrow." The next morning, the couple joined hands and set off for the spring in the mountains. The old woman, too, carefully scooped up the water and drank it, and soon she was transformed back into her younger self, with smooth skin and jet-black hair. Grateful for the youth that had returned to them, the couple promised to keep cherishing each other and living kindly, just as they always had. Such an astonishing event could not escape the notice of the greedy old man who lived next door. He could hardly believe his eyes when the couple appeared overnight as a young man and woman. He marched over to their house and demanded, almost shouting, "Hold on a minute! You two are not the people I used to know! What happened to the couple who lived in this house, and why are you living here instead?" "Look closely, old friend. Don't you recognize us? Why can't you see the faces of your old neighbors?" The greedy old man stared hard at their faces, and then he startled in disbelief. "Now tell me, what on earth did you do to become a young maiden and a young man again? Did you take some kind of miracle medicine? Don't keep it to yourselves. Tell me too." The kind-hearted couple told him honestly, without holding anything back, exactly where to find the spring in the mountains. The moment he heard where the spring was, the greedy old man took off for the mountains without so much as a backward glance. "Remember, we only drank a single sip," they called out after him, but he was already out of sight. Drenched in sweat, the greedy old man finally reached the spring. "This heat is unbearable, and my body won't cooperate. What a struggle! And just when I'm so thirsty, too. I've arrived at the spring right on time. I'll drink my fill of this miracle water." The greedy old man drank one gourdful of the spring water. At once, he turned into a man in his 30s. "I suppose it's because I was so exhausted, This water tastes like honey, and I feel bursting with energy. I'll have to drink another gourdful." After drinking 2 gourds of the spring water, the greedy old man turned into a boy in his teens. Not realizing what was happening to his own body, he kept scooping up the water and gulping it down. But his burst of energy didn't last long. Suddenly, the gourd had grown far too big and heavy for him to lift. "Huh? That's strange. Why can't I control my own body anymore?" When the old man next door still hadn't returned by the next day, the worried young couple hurried up to the spring in the mountains. "Is anyone here? Hello? Is anyone there?" No matter how loudly they called, there was no answer, only the sound of a baby crying somewhere nearby. And the closer they came to the spring, the louder the crying grew. When they finally reached the spring, they found the old man's large clothes lying there, empty and rumpled. They carefully lifted the folds of cloth, and there inside was a newborn baby, crying at the top of its lungs. Because he had been so greedy and drunk far too much of the spring water, the old man had turned into a baby. The couple exchanged a sad, gentle smile and took the baby into their arms. Too much greed always brings misfortune. But still, we can't just leave this poor child here. The couple decided to see the baby as a gift from heaven and resolved to adopt him and raise him with all their love and care. As the years passed, the baby who had once been the greedy old man grew up surrounded by the couple's warm love and good teaching. All trace of his old, stubborn, greedy nature was gone, and he grew into the kindest, most honest person in the world, always ready to help his neighbors, living happily together with his parents.